All right, guys. Who's ready to get... Well, are we going to get the party started today? I don't know. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. Hey, everybody. It's a good day to be alive. It's a good day to be a trader, an investor. It's a good day to be in the correct stocks, the correct sequencing stocks. I actually forgot to mention Beam the other day, and I forgot how good it went. But yeah, Beam was another one of these CRISPR-based stocks, and you can see 110. The main problem with Beam always was cash flow. But look at the volume coming into this sector. Phenomenal stuff. Welcome, everybody, to the stream. Hello. I hope you're all going really well today. We're set. Just did a webinar, so that's why we were 30 seconds late. You guys giving me pain for that, but that's all right. Let's have a look here at the market. So we'll get started with the crypto market straight away, and we'll talk about what happened yesterday and why crypto is just such a pain from the TA perspective. It really is. So firstly, we have the little long leg doji. We've got the pull up, we've got the resistance, we've talked about it a lot. We've talked about how this is the zone for Bitcoin to make it stand and move towards 38. Yesterday, breached, closed above. That's a good sign. Now we're getting the fake out, we hope, to the bottom side. So we're getting that kind of like, oh, are we going to go up? Are we not going to go up? You know, it scares people, etc. The good news is the 4-hour 20 is holding. The other good news, the 4-hour 2050 of course, crossed yesterday, which was perfect. And hopefully during this session today, we can make the recovery back above 35, maybe like 400, 500. That is what I want to see. 35, 300, 400. What are people saying? What is this? Knock Knock says, Oi, Tom. What's up, Knock Knock? The bot is doing its job. Yeah, when we go live, the bot kicks in. The bot doesn't kick in before the market. I don't know why. Here's the resistance that we need to breach. Once we do that, we can start the repair and continue on with the BTC. Now, if that happens, of course, all of the other coins will also start to recover, I would hope. Things like Ethereum, things like XRP, which, you know, very disappointing. XRP should be already at 80 cents, guys. Shouldn't have done what it was doing. We breach, we close, we participate. That is not what the crypto market is currently doing. But good news is it's still technically strong. It's at the 2050, and you can see again that as long as it holds this zone, as long as we turn now, we should be in a good position towards the bull side. Now, if the bears are going to get back in on BTC, well, that's going to be unfortunate, and we probably will know in the next 24 to 48 hours. We do have non-farm payrolls. I'm not sure how much that's going to affect Bitcoin. Traditionally, it kind of doesn't really affect it that much. But I'm just looking for today's session. Just give us a 35.4 plus. We don't ask much. We're only asking like $400 or $500 on Bitcoin. That's very little in the scheme of how Bitcoin trades. We'll continue to watch this one throughout the session, but I wanted to start with it today because it is a little bit weird. US 500. Now, where are we? We've pulled back a little bit here early in the session. We went as low as 42.80. Now we're at 42.90. Again, is this something to be concerned about? I think my major concern here, like many, is that we're getting pretty far away from the 20. Now, have we done that before? Yeah, we did it in the April run. We ran very far away from the 20. We've just got to be cautious. We're cautiously optimistic. We have our community trend line for July. A lot of people are getting scared. There's no doubt. A lot of people are getting scared at these highs. There's no reason to be scared yet because we don't have price action that's showing us, you know, anything really too troubling. I will say that this kind of big bull tear that we were on here with the 20, this is a 2-hour chart, the 20 being the bull area, that just got broken against, 4 hours ago to the downside. So that just got broken against, then it's come back up. Possibly now it might turn around again to the downside. I'm in two minds. You know, 1 or 2 days out from the Fed, if we're set in positions, then we're set. If we're not set in positions, we've got to be careful. And again, the US 100, it's coming back down to our favorite buy zone, the 20 moving average on the 2-hour. This has been our favorite buy zone for quite some time now along this bullish trend. We're still long. We're still looking good. But yeah, what can I say? It's not like, oh, I think it's the best day ever to trade. If you know what I'm saying. It just isn't from a US 500, US 100 perspective. But it's different when we go to the stocks. Because as I always say, if you're finding a boring market or a market that you like, you know, I don't really see an opportunity for me there today or maybe in the next week or something, and you think, damn, you know, I want an opportunity. I want to get into this trade. I want to do something. Well, it doesn't always have to be the stock market indices. There are the stocks, and we've got plenty of different things hitting up. Yesterday, we talked about the Shanghai Composite. We talked about the 3650 on the weekly. We're going to revisit that now every week until we break the 3650, because when we do, I'm interested in seeing the momentum play that we believe could come through from that. And you can see it again if you go to the weekly, guys. It all makes sense. So there's boringness on the market indices for now, and the main reason is going to be we had big bullish days. We've now got a Fed meeting, or not Fed meeting, but we've got non-farm payrolls coming out on Friday, and we don't have clear direction in the markets. We've got IWM testing the peak, 233. Is this an incredibly important zone? You can see it on the weekly. Hell yes, it is. We're going to continue to look at this as a community together right here at the 234, 233. And if we breach it, then we've got opportunity there. But for now, you're looking at it saying, okay, we close above here. Things are looking great. We close below here. Things are looking like it's going back down to the 211 because you've got like a little double top there. And you can short both of those things accordingly. But if I was looking at this market thinking, oh, do I want to buy this or do I want to short this? I'd have to go with the short side. Now, would I? No, because there's no point. It's not a statistically likely chance of being successful, in my opinion. And that's my opinion only. But we are at the top of a range. Can everyone see this top of the range? 1 touch, 2 touches, 3 touches, top of the range. Very tough for us to buy here. You could short, but I don't really think it's a great short position. So it's an interesting market. We're going to go through some different sectors today and do some really in-depth stuff that I think you're going to like. Let's have a quick discussion here with the community. What are you guys saying? The Crypto God says ETH held up stronger. Big announcement for ETH in July. Yep. ETH definitely is making the moves. ETH already broke 2050. That was the key resistance. That's kind of like Bitcoin going through the 35.4K. You clearly see ETH has anticipation in it. So I totally agree with you, Crypto God. You're making the right type of thing there. Truly Messiah says, I sold XRP. Fair enough, man. Adrian Lim says, ETC, please. It went ballistic. I think you mean ballistic. Yes. Or do you mean ballistic? Is that the way you're going with it? Roctopus says, good Streamlabs. That's right. Well, let's have a look at ET. We'll have a quick look at ETH Classic, and then we'll get back into the rest of the markets. What is it? ETC, isn't it? ETH Classic. Okay. Certainly moved up quite a lot percentage-wise. Also began really the step of recovery here. So that's a huge step of recovery, breaching through this series of lower peaks that came in. Huge move. You know, the problem with ETH Classic is I don't really understand why it goes up. Is there that much development on it or anything? Obviously, this is a news announcement. I doubt it's just moving without some kind of news going through on it. But from a technical perspective, it looks like it's kind of pumped into the correct zone and now it's ready to consolidate. It's not really a strong buy. It's more of a consolidation at this area. If you got in, congratulations. But look where it goes straight back into. Or a bit of issues where previously $60 support, $60 support, $60 resistance. You know, that's an issue zone that we don't really want to focus on too much, I think. Now, we'll keep going through these stocks because there's a lot to cover. Dollar index continues to bull up. Now, will this get as high as we maybe suspect it could, which is somewhere around that 92.40 zone? You know, 92.40, I'll make sure I always zoom in a lot for you guys today. I got a bit of a complaint about that. So 92.40, resistance, usually ahead of big news. We usually hit a key resistance or a key support. So I actually think that the dollar index could quite easily get there. Now, if a dollar index gets there, what's going to happen to gold? It will short off. Are we getting enough coming in here from gold? perspective-wise? Well, I think, again, you just need that little bit extra. This is the key zone for shorters to come in. I see why they're there. But if they don't close it under 1750, we just need to close underneath 1750, and then I believe the sellers will come in to 1720. So 1720 is a good technical level after 1750 is breached. And it seems likely after this breaches that it does come down and hits that level. It's all about understanding what's going on right now. Are we seeing the right sequencing here towards the downside? No. But we are underneath the 1760. We are certainly more biased towards the short, but it just isn't quite doing it for me. You know, I've got these concerns here. I've got concerns that it will breach to the top and actually start to recover. And therefore, I need that little bit extra confirmation. Sometimes when you understand the markets and you've been reading them long enough and you think about it, we've got a long leg doji here, and that long leg doji's gone bullish into the what was support, which acts now as resistance, role reversal. We don't want to be there just yet, guys. That's for sure. We do not want to be there just yet. Let's quickly move through a few others here. What else we got? We got US oil doing its thing, floating around in the zone. As we suspected, it's coming back up now, but it's still channeling between the 72.52 and 74.21. Might as well just put those on your chart. If we breach 74.21, get a closure above that. Closure means close, doesn't just mean wick through. Then we can move to the next level. So there's some good stuff there in the markets. And really it is happening there. US 10-year dropped down today. That's positive for the Nasdaq overall. To see the 10-year going down, definitely a positive there. But we'll hand it over to some of the room in the super chats here before we get into the individual stocks, because I think we've got a lot to cover in the individual stocks. We've got sectors to go through. We're going to go through most of the sectors. What do you guys think? You excited about that? We're going to do the financial sector. We're going to do the utility sector. We're going to go through the sectors together, and we're going to try to find maybe the next big thing, but more importantly than that, which sectors are strong, which sectors have key levels, because today is the perfect kind of day to be doing that. What do you guys think? Should we do it? Tell me yes or no. Bradley back, super chatted $5. Loved the Wednesday webinar. Good to have Ty on and great insight. Membership has its benefits. Thank you very much, Bradley back. Check PLTR pullback. It's about to coil before the resistance. All right, let's have a look at PLTR for you, sir. PLTR. Yes, you are correct. So Palantir's pulled back into our little resistance that breached. It hit that 2750. You know, don't say technicals aren't a thing. Look at this. Why did it stop there, guys? Why? Because it hit the resistance level for sure. Look at it. Yeah. Now we're back here at the 20 moving average. We hope that PLTR doesn't do this. No 26.45 in the morning. We want to see PLTR have a little bit of a turnaround, because that would be sweet stuff. We'll certainly check it out. All right, let's bring up, sounds like you guys are definitely interesting for that. Sector rotation is crucial, says the crypto god. It absolutely is. It's just like crypto. If you understand, there's sector rotation in every market. Crypto is the same thing. We've talked about it before. Number one, BTC moves. Number two, ETH moves. Number three, big alts move. We talked about this. Big alts. Excuse that G there. And number four, what do we got? I call them crappers. We got crappers. Unfortunately, that is the last one. Now, a lot of people love these. We'll call them small alts, but I call them the crapper coins. So they're the last ones. And that's, again, a rotation within a market. Once you understand how that rotation works, you're going to be a big boss trader, because that's exactly the type of thing that Wall Street does time and time and time again. Let me get this ready then, and let's get started with doing some analysis, because I think today is the perfect case. We kind of know a lot of the levels. We've been watching the stream. We know a lot of these stock levels. We know that they've had, I mean, I would have to say epic great runs. You know, epic great runs, guys. You guys have probably done pretty well out of the last couple of days. And if you haven't, don't worry. There's another opportunity around in the next week, the next month, there's always another trading opportunity, guys. Never be fearful of trading opportunities. So let's have a look at the last 3 months here. This is Coifin, free application. Hopefully will remain free. I'm not sure if it will. I am not affiliated with them, but you know what? It's a great free app. I didn't know about it until one of the community members messaged me and they said, I love the Coifin. Check it out, man. It's going to change the way you do the streams for free. And I was like, damn, this is like a sweet free Bloomberg in terms of this rotation stuff. And I found some great free tools. Jump into the ! Discord right now. There's some free tools in there. There's obviously Ticker, there's Coifin, there's some great ones. So let's think about what's happened here. We've got some rotation. We've had financials doing incredibly well over the last 3 months. We've had XLC communications. Admittedly, I wasn't heavily in that field, but that's gone 12.42. And then XLRE, you got to be really good at picking your timing for the real estate market, but it's there. Then we've had a big pickup of healthcare, which I like to think the community has been doing well at. We've had IBB, which is bio going hard, 9.71%, another incredibly strong play here. And then we've had a rotation out of a few sectors. So a little bit of weakness starting to come through here for XLF, XLE, etc. So let's now actually bring one of those up on the charts. And we've got more. I mean, look at all the sectors we've got here. We've got water resources. I want to kind of look at water resources. How's that been going recently? Let's have a 1 year look at water resources. Get rid of some of these. Get out of here. Where's my water resources? Faux. Ooh, okay. Water resources. See when you see this chart, what does this tell us? Instantly. There's been great points, and I can't get rid of it. I'm trying to point at it right now on the screen. But see those resistances? See when the resistances get broken and the rotation comes in? And what are we now? We've been doing this for a little while. So in April to pretty much June, this water resource index has been sitting pretty, just been sitting flat. And it's had amazing kind of 1 year return. Let's have a look at the 3 year return for FO. Another incredible run here. But see how, again, it's looking like it's ready to breach. So let's have a quick look at that one. I haven't even looked at it. So let's check it out. PHO. Can I put it in here? Invesco Water Resources. Probably going to be pretty thin. Let's check it out. Okay. Look at the breach. Oh, it's a beautiful trade, guys. What a rotation. So good. Double resistance breach. Even a little bit of a pullback. And it's been doing it consistently too. Look at the breach. Look at the pullback. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So what are we seeing right now? Well, we're at a resistance for arguably, a pretty solid industry to be in for a long time, if this is the type of thing that you want to be in. And you've got here a triple resistance. Now, if this breaches out, half of the room's probably never even seen this thing before or even thought about it. If it breaches, what does this mean? Rotation could be coming in. We know that when it's done this in the past, when it's had like a triple kind of resistance like over here, or even when it's had two and it's broken out, it's offered actually a surprising amount of large moves. Like every one of these breaches has been quite effective for years now. Even this breach over here, pretty effective trading. So it's been good for a long time. It's at a resistance. We need to watch it. You got to think about it outside the box. You got to say, okay, well now I'm going to go and break down the different weird stocks that are in this, and I'm going to find the ones that I like the better technicals on, because you don't have to trade the index. That may be a bit boring. Maybe safer, but it's a bit boring. So then we break it down into the other ones. Let's just go through a few of the bigs though. Let's have a look at XLF. And I want to see what the community thinks about this one. So we covered this in the webinar just before, and I'm going to get rid of that line. So if I was to bring in this chart, and I would to say, firstly, let's have a look at the weekly. What do you guys think? Well, we came down to the weekly 20. We know that's mean reversion. So we know that it's come back to a very critical point that it usually does. So the entire financial industry, it's gotten smashed down to this level. Perfect. That's exactly where you want it to be. And then we think about, well, what did this mean? Well, we had two big bullish wicks hammers here. They were obviously fake outs. Then it made those kind of little grasps. Oh, please, all the retail traders, please buy XLF. It's so smart. Mainstream media is talking crap about how great it is. And then everyone gets in and you get hit up. Now, where are we at this point? Let me break down the daily here. What do you guys think about this chart? Would you be bullish or bearish on this chart right now, considering what you've got? So just look at it. Bullish or bearish, chat? Let me know. Let me read some more of the community as well and see what you guys thought. The Crypto God says, interesting. I've never looked at anything besides the main 11. Yeah, this decade, you got to get outside the main 11. It's not just like, oh, yeah, I love the financials or I love the industrials or something. Cathie Wood, she's not wrong on that. I say she's incredibly smart from the action of she is correct about this decade being one of the most exciting investing decades potentially we've ever seen. Now, I don't know if I agree with every one of her stock picks, but yeah, it's super important here. Mushroom Cap says ADP out. Yeah, it's probably not going to move the market too much initially here. The thing about the pre kind of numbers, so if we have a look and we refresh numbers and stuff, and obviously non-farms, you can see here, I've set it to the US time, so ET, so this is the 1 hour before New York Open on Friday. If we scroll up here, we've got non-farm employment change, the first number, okay, just came out then, 692, yeah, whatever, 555 expectation. Then we will have the Thursday unemployment claims number. Again, I don't really care about these claims. I know, look, I've said this several times. Don't worry about those numbers. They're false crap. They don't matter. Why are they not put in? Like, this is a little orange. This one up here was a little orange. It will barely move the market because they're often quite wrong from what the real jobs number is. You'd be surprised how different they can be. And look at the market. It's not moving a heavy amount after that number. So people say bear, 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 bear. Yeah, that's correct. I would say it's more bearish than bullish. If we're thinking about this market right now in terms of the financials, we've got support, we've kind of come back up to that, and then we're struggling. But we're at a critical zone, and this is what a technical analyst does, this is what an investor does, what a smart big brain person does, like you guys out there. You think about it from the perspective of, have we hit a critical zone in the market? Absolutely. You can see it's come up twice. It's tested the zone twice. It's fault, like it's basically not been able to break through, and it's had a support. So what is this on even a 5-minute chart? A lot of people would say that's we call it, I can't even call it what Tyrone calls it on the channel probably without getting in trouble. But this is the resistance here, and we have a little double top potential. Like if we breach under here, then all of a sudden we go bearish down to the 35.25. We breach under, we get bearishness, and the financial sector isn't looking so hot. We breach above, and the market cleans above here. Well, guess what? Let's go back. Woohoo, $38 on the index. We can then trade accordingly into the stocks. And if you're not doing this type of thing, guys, the 1,100 or however many people we got there, thank you very much for joining us today, by the way. Subscribe, guys. Give us a like. If you're not doing it, I think you're doing some things wrong in your technical analysis. Now, you might say to me, oh, I scalp the markets, 5-minute charts. I don't care. Yeah, but imagine if you were to go to a daily and a weekly and understand the sector rotation and then scalp accordingly. If you were in biotech over the last 3 weeks, if you were in financials in November and December because you understood and they were the ones that you were scalping during that time, you know what happened? If you were buying them on the way up, you might have been able to say, I'm going to take off 2/3 of my order. I'm going to take my profit and I'm going to let a third ride. Guess what? The statistics were in your favor to be kicking ass in those areas because they went parabolic. They went really, really high up. And you're doing a great job. So XLF, I would have to go with probably more bearish than bullish. If we close above 37, I'm going to leave my opinion at the door. I'm going to change my mind and I'm going to go bullish. And you guys are going to say in the comment section, Tom, you bearish yesterday and now you're bullish. Yeah, because things have changed. You got to recognize that. It's very, very, very different. Very different to the day. So lower yields is bad for XLF, says Colin. Yeah, look, we can bring in a lot of fundamental reasons behind lower yields or interest rates and where they're at and where they're going to be and inflation and this and that into the stock game. But really the price action will still tell us a lot of these things. And fundamentals matter a lot when it comes to the investment side. Let's just quickly continue breaking down some sectors. So we've done financials. Let's have a look at a big stock. Let's have a look at JP Morgan. Very huge stock. Let's have a look. Now, where's JP Morgan? Well, it hit the support. Can we all see why it bought off this level? Hell yeah, it buys off this level. Look, beautiful, beautiful buying. for a lot of people buying that dip, trying to catch the knife, and then it rides up. It moves up hard, and it hits the perfect zone. It's like XLF in many ways. It's bounced back up to the zone. We go to most of the banks, they're going to show very similar things because they make up, of course, the financial sector. Let's go to the second. Let's go to Exhibit B. What are we going to do? Going to go look at XLK. Technology sector. Okay. Now, if I was looking at that, I'd say, whoa, that's not a rocket ship. That's looking sweet. Look at it. Woo! Keep going, XLK. Don't come back. That's what you're thinking. How can you say that's bearish right now other than if we find a trend line that's going to kick our ass? And there is potentially a trend line that may kick our ass. There it is. Bang. How close are we to this? We wouldn't have recognized this trend line that we need to be paying attention to. We've obviously got the QQQ one, but the QQQ is not just Nasdaq or not just technology stocks here. It's other things as well. It's not just XLK. So if we think about this technology here and we think about where we're at with the resistance, look how close we are to a very critical zone. Very close. In fact, if we get this drawn down a little bit, we might even be putting that in tomorrow's video, guys. Check that out. Look at that XLK. Damn. Now, if we adjust it a little bit, get that out there, then we might have a little bit of room. So that's the problem with trend lines. We're not precise science, but we know when we've got to be careful. So that's the way that I would say with XLK that I'd be looking at it, because it's very different. It looks super strong. There's nothing negative about it just yet on the charts. Let's move over to some other sectors. I'm going to bring all the sectors up so I can check them out here on the screen. So we've done XLK. You guys decide, which one do you want to do next? Which one do you want to do next? I will pick one, and then you guys can pick the next one. What do you want, chat? IBB, we've spoken about this a lot. Biotechnology sector pulled back, started on its huge run up. Of course, looks great on the charts currently. We've got clear targets for it. 172, 173. It's on its way to that area. S. Burgos says, hey, Tom, I took a break from trading and created my first fully functional prototype, heading to patent and then moving into my mansion. I don't know what that means. What prototype? Are these like prototype goggles or something, Aspergos? Message me the prototype. Show us the cool things. Can we feature them on the stream? Are they awesome? Prototype something. Ulrich Nielsen, DKK, $50. Pen on the ASX on the 4 hour. We bounced off the 200 MA. We made a double bottom and then a lower channel trend line from March 10 and broke the descending resistance. Wow, that's a lot, Ulrich. We'll check that out very, very soon. So we've got some votes coming in here for the different from the different ones. Airbnb is not necessarily a sector, but thank you very much for messaging. We will check that out. XLE, Pho. When we looked at Pho before Ray Lim, it was good. We looked at Pho noodles, the water. I love Pho noodles. They're good. Or Pho. I think it's Pho. XLB seems pretty popular in XLV. All right, let's have a look at XLV. XLV. So that's the healthcare sector. Been talking a lot about this. Breaching at this point. So again, usually June's pretty strong here. We've breached the top. Does that mean that we're bullish healthcare? Yeah, at this stage, we would be bullish healthcare. Regardless of what we feel about some of the other sections of the market, it looks strong. We go over to the weekly. Again, the breach has occurred. What happened? Now we want to understand what happens in previous breaches. In a previous breach over here, we kind of dragged up and then we got some weakness. We need to know that. When did we breach? We breached randomly in July, early July. Interesting. Very similar time of the year. Previous breach over here, we breached, but it was short-lived, and obviously that 20 happened. So again, big resistance break happened in November here, big run on it. So usually when it's breaching these key resistances, it is having a run, and we need to watch the candles, very, very closely. So XLV is a clear breakout at this point. Then we've got XLU, the utility sector, the most hated sector in the market. If you understand about recoveries here, this is actually the slowest sector to recover, and it always is. It's a really late sector kind of play. Now, if you have a look at this chart, you'd think, oh, well, it recovered the whole way through and performed very well from the GFC all the way through. The main thing that didn't happen here with the XLU, the utility sector in the market, was when it got through like a 30, like say like 2011, you can actually see it slowed down a lot. And when it really went crazy, see how it's like 18 into the 19 period, so that late cycle? Utilities did amazingly over this period. You got to be really careful with utilities. It's definitely not my favorite sector because you can make money in it, don't get me wrong. But it's one of those sectors that goes late cycle. It is the final cyclical trade in general terms. And this is not a chart that currently looks like, oh, I love this thing. Let's go to the daily. Do I love that? Not really. Let's go the 4 hour. Do we have like a series? Like we've got like this crazy on the bottom. We have weakness. It just doesn't look pretty. It does not look pretty. So I think what we've really demonstrated here is we've looked through a few, and that I'll bring some more up tomorrow in the stream. And that is that if you're looking at the sectors, we can then break down into the other sections of the stocks and we can find the opportunities. So right now we know that biotech's still looking good. We know that water is starting to potentially break out, or water resources. We also know that utilities is a bit at the moment. You know, support becomes resistance, shorts off, and we're at support again. This is the exact area where you've got to be very careful. I mean, you'd be way bearish here in the utility sector. Let's have a look through some of our favorite stocks here today. We are just under 1 hour away from the market. Welcome to the 1,200 plus viewers that we've got here coming in today. Let's have a look at some of the stocks that were moving. So we've got Square trapped very, very well within our ascending channel. And at this point, it's in the middle of this ascending channel. So, of course, we're looking for it to continue up to the bull side. Let's just quickly extrapolate that out. So we have that there for tomorrow. Square today really comes down to Bitcoin. Can Bitcoin start to get back above 35? If it can, Square can probably give us some good results. And we go to TDOC. TDOC's recovery, been pretty good. I would say that this 170 line, which it's breached really, is incredibly important. And specifically, look at yesterday's 4 hour long leg doji. We're going to have a good potential for further bullish pressure coming into TDOC. Because if we have a long leg doji on this indecision, imagine if we get decision made. What happens then? TDOC runs to like the 180, to the 190, to the 200. Every $10 increment, TDOC's going to be blasting through. Big percentages to be had still in this stock. Although it's sick, we need to remember where it come from. $300 still trading at 170. Still trading well under. And I know people say, oh, but it's only a recovery stock. TDOC's only a recovery stock, Tom. But is it really? It can be other things. It's I think it still is more than possibly just a recovery stock. Let's do Ulrich Nielsen's before we go into Z, because Z is another interesting one that we've seen have some great movements on it recently, and it's starting to do some good recovery. So we've got PEN on the ASX. Peninsula Energy. So you're saying that we bounced off the 200 MA. Okay, so the 200 MA is just underneath here on the 4 hour. Let's have a look at the daily. Daily's well under, of course. And then I assume you're probably talking about the 2 hour here. So we broke off that. We made a double bottom on the lower channel of the trend line. That's correct. You've definitely made a low and you've come back up to the resistance and then broke the descending resistance. Yes, you have from the perspective you finally got a closure candle here that's up. This is a good sign for further trade in the next couple of days, Ulrich. And I wish you the best. I know you've been on this one for a while. So, yep, repairs happened. It's come down. You've correctly analyzed the 200. You got a big breach today with a 9.6%, and that's actually looking healthy for the first time. That's the best we've seen it in a few weeks. So, hopefully, it does start to play the game for you. Rocktopus says XLY is retail. Nike, UA, just a bunch of apparel and makeup reopen plays are bullish right now. We'll have a look at XLY. Just quickly do consumer discretionary. Definitely bullish into this resistance. I feel like you're going to have problems here though. So again, it potentially pays to have a look at the markets, Octopus, and look at the sectors, the one problem, like, I mean, it could breach. I mean, if you breach the 180 kind of high, then yeah, you should hopefully keep going. But we've got to think about what this first move did. So the first move, the first rally occurred. Then we have a second rally that's occurred off here, and it's probably going to push into that 180 loan. When it hits that, do I think there's potential of a sell-off? Yeah, and I think all of these kind of things are going to hit at the same time that XLK kind of gets hit on the top of the trend line. We're making a story that makes sense. We've got XLK, consumer discretionary, biotech, water, healthcare, all of these strong. We've got financials, whatever, energy, pretty much whatever now. And then, of course, utilities also not coming along. So we've got to be very, very careful here. And if it breaches, what are we going to do? Trend line out, look for that long. That's what we're going to do probably later on in the year. So, yeah, XLY, another good watch. Let's go over to Zillow. So Zillow is right at the key zone to breach. Today may be the day it gets through. And there's a lot of runway here for Zillow. We can think about it. You've got a 148-ish target to 140 to 148-ish target from a technical perspective, and it only has to get above 120 kind of 5. You get a 125. We've done the repair, series of lower highs that were coming through here. They've all been breached above. Amazing stuff there, guys. Zillow is on fire. It's on a daily 200, but probably more than that when we're talking about in the webinar. It's really about breaching through this 124 zone. So we'll be watching it throughout the session, but it is getting a lot better. Mohammed says, Tom, can you please check coin? Yeah, we certainly can check coin. The Crypto God says, how long can growth run? End of July or not that long? We're going to have to be really patient about how fast it runs. So if it hits those technical resistances, like the trend lines that we've been seeing, I think we're going to really place a lot of factors on that. How fast did it get there? What time of year are we? Are we likely to see a pullback just by the fact that we've got so much big bullish pressure coming into the markets and we're kind of at a point of tipping on other stocks? It all comes down to knowing what you're looking for. But I think the best one is going to be looking at those trend lines. When the trend lines come in, we'll know something is up. Coin's actually a good one. Yeah, we might even bring this into the list today. That's nice. Now, I expect it to be down. Let's have a look at the Webull pre-market here. Firstly, what is up? Clover plug, AMC 1.44, GameStop flat. Okay, and then we go to the screener. Let's have a look at the pre. Moderna, ResMed, Intuitive, yeah, and Coinbase, yeah, 250.49. SE. Okay, so if you're bullish on crypto, I mean, this is just basically another play, and it kind of looks like Bitcoin. You've got your base. You've got your base again. You've got your actual repair that's come through here. You've got your double bottom that's just played out. Closure yesterday to the double bottom high. And as long as this nasty coin over here actually starts to recover, I just realized you guys don't even have my damn screen. Sorry, guys. There we go. What was I doing? You got to tell me when you can't see it. Maybe Dave might have told me. Oh, no, he was telling me something else. Okay, so yeah, breach above here, definitely great close. It's reliant solely, though, on the crypto and your crypto analysis. If I was to look at this stock, I would say, yep, that thing's put a base in. The volume's back in the last two sessions. This should continue to hopefully go long. Now it's got above the 250, and we're moving into the 280 level and then the 300 level from a Coinbase perspective. So things are looking better, for sure. And when you look at it, it makes a lot of sense. But again, BTC has to come to the party. Nick M. Power, $7.50. DNN and millions of views. Deciding if I should sell them. I have big gains, but they have been bleeding for a while. I think they are at trend line support. All right, let's have a look at these two for you, sir. Thank you very much for your donation. Let's have a look at DNN, Denison Mines. Big gains. So we looked at this before. It's done two breaks that couldn't come through. Yeah, oh yeah. You said, I think it's at the trend line support. You're 100% correct, sir. Absolutely. Yep. No doubt that thing is at support. You'll know soon enough whether you've got to cut it up. If you've got big gains, that's awesome. Look, you've held... The thing is, you've got to think about it this way. You've got big gains. You've held through. You've given it its good shot. And if it breaches underneath the trend line, you gave it a shot, yeah? What's the worst that could happen? You gave it a really good fair dinkum go, as we'd say in Australia. Fair dinkum. And, yep, you're right. Trend line there. Let's have a look at UUU. It's NG Fuels Company. You said this one is also at trend line support. Probably not just yet. I mean, it's probably a body trend line support, but not those wicks where it's bounced off. You do have a series of like peaks, troughs, lower peaks, lower troughs. You've already started in a sequence of failing. This is your last kind of hold. And again, you can see you've got your support here as well in the UUU. I totally... It's always hard. I mean, I can't tell you to cut a position. I can't tell you to do anything with these types of things. But yes, you are correct. It's starting to get to a sickness level. And the question is, do you want to hold through it and just basically you believe in the long-term prospects and you're going to hold regardless, or are you going to want to crystallize some of that stuff? You've got to make their own decision, and I think you've correctly identified it. Nick M. Power. Justin Roberts, super chat at $4.99. SKLZ, please. All right, let's do SKLZ. How's old skills going? Trend line is holding. It is started moving up. Okay, let's have a look at the weekly. God, this thing's all over the place. Look, skills has a lot of power in it. I mean, it's got to 26. Then it's got to like a 30 level, which is the next one. Oh, I'm not sure how to feel about it. I know this is a Cathy Wood special, isn't it? This one. Nothing bearish here. Mostly bullish. I mean, you've got your pickup. You've closed above 20. Big deal. It's gone to 22. That's awesome. And now you're looking for that further kind of movement to the 26. And I hope it can kind of breach that and go to 30. So good luck. Keep your trend line in. And yeah, it looks all right, Justin Robert. Looks all right. Oscar says, hey, Tom, top of the morning to you. Great to have you here, Oscar. Thank you very much for joining. Graham Stevens says, Tom, how would you interpret CG? Let's have a look at CG. What is this thing? I'd interpret that as it's a crazy rocket. Yeah, looks super far away from the 20 for a long time, which has me worried. What you've got to do on these, you just got to follow the trend. You know, pretty much recently, it's always been the 20 moving average, fairly close to the 20 moving average. Maybe you want to find a little bit better that it's been holding through. You've got crazy volume here that's come in. Do we have anything on the monthly chart? Is it all times? You just kind of keep going with the flow, and then you've got to figure. I think that you're looking for a sequence you probably haven't had. Yep, you haven't had a lightning bolt to the downside, so you're probably looking for a lightning bolt to the downside to get out of something like this. Welcome to the 1,250 viewers. Thank you very much for joining us today. Oscar says SoFi. All right, I think you said that before. Have a look at SoFi Technologies. Too little data. 1st of December launched. Support is around 17, what is this? $66, $18. Big volume the last couple of days. Let's go to the 2 hour. I don't know why there's suddenly volume in it. But realistically, it's very, very thin. All you're doing is just basically saying, okay, I see resistance there. I'm buying the damn support. And you don't have much other on the TA. That's just the reality. There's very little TA here, and if you're doing TA on this chart, yeah, good luck to you. It's too difficult. You know, you've got like that. That's all I could say. Series of lower peaks. You know, if you bust this, then it's going to be real. You can see the support here that's come through. Very thin chart, and you've already filled the gap, so you've got to be careful. CG's RSI is 69, so it might break into overbought territory, says Kevin. Yeah, like I think it could. I think it's on a rocket ship, that stock. All right, let's keep going through some of our favorites here. So Airbnb first up. Ugh. Airbnb, what a crapper. Seriously. This is why I just hate IPO stocks. I don't personally hold any Airbnb right now, but You know, I just hate IPO stocks in the US. You get into them and it goes well for the first little bit, and then of course it always does this, and it just becomes such a terrible, annoying thing. So yesterday it breached down. That's actually pretty bearish. I'm not feeling great about it. Like we were in between the 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. We had the 50, 50, 50, and we were hoping for a 154.31 break. Look, I don't think the price is horrid even here, but that's not a candle you want to see, guys. Like it's very, very disappointing stock. Like I want to delete it, but I know a few of you are watching it. So yeah, I mean, if it just closed that little bit lower today, I could see it kind of going a bit bearish down to like 140. I don't think it's going to get through 130 easily, but it is tipping over, and that's not a good daily close. I wouldn't trade either way on it, but I'm certainly not. I was hoping for the upside. I really was. 154.31. We get the breach. We take it to 164. Participation would have been bellissimo. We could have all afforded to go and possibly get a one-night stay in Airbnb, but you know, it didn't happen. Let's have a look here at Apple. Apple hits 136. 136. Resistance met. Maybe, again, another reason why the US 100 might kind of float round today. Snowflake still stuck. We'll check that out another day. N-phase. Looking for a pullback in N-phase. I want to see N-phase come back, guys. Come back to us, N-phase. Maybe back down to 176. That'd be sweet. 176. I see a few people here saying, Conscious says Baidu and Baba, Tom. Oh, we'll be looking at those. We're laser focused in on the Chinese stocks at this stage. ARK looks fine. ARKG looks fine. CRISPR, yeah, it's doing okay. CRISPR's doing pretty good. It's up off the base. Let me have a look here. What's the percentage off the base? You know, I think the beam has done better for me. I mean, it's pretty good, 54.5% off the base. Now, obviously, I don't think you should be ever getting that base, but you could have got here as the first entry and then here as more entries. So even the people that were getting it recently, they're still up about 23%. CRISPR's been doing very sweet, but I do think that there are other technologies. A few people in the community have been messaging me as well about some good stocks in the biotech area. So supposedly Beam's pretty good. We got Verve is pretty good, but they've got to give money to Beam, which is pretty good for Beam when you think about it. Edit's also one, and then we've got Pack Bio. You know, I haven't looked at Pack Bio. Let's check that out. Is this Pack Bio? Anyone tell me if that's Pack Bio? Oh, that thing's off its head. Well, that one doesn't interest me. And then we've got Illumina. Is it that? I'm just quickly looking here. Whoops. Yeah, another very strong move already going on here. Beautiful, beautiful percentages. So yeah, the biotechnology sector is kind of tough to get into at this stage, but they are all running through. I think the only one I've got that I'm looking at is something like the one I had in the market yesterday was a T something. But yeah, look, they're all good. They're all really interesting stocks, and they're very hard to understand. That's for sure. I was just having a look at my screen, just trying to find if I could get the links. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We did PLTR before. That was fine. AMD. Got to say, well done, community. Yes. Yes. AMD did it, guys. Look at it go. Like we say on the chat, we got the recovery. It's a beautiful thing. Pack B. Oh, okay. Pack B. Thank you, guys. PACB. Pacific Biosciences. Oh, right at resistance. I'm bringing it in. I want to see what happens soon for it. We'll watch that one. I'll put it in my own watch list. Yeah, that's right. We've done this before. Great run at it at the resistance. I wouldn't mind seeing this thing actually have a bit of a breather. Breathe. Come back, Pack B. Come back. And if you're in Pack B, don't blame me if it comes back. All right, so let's have a look at AMD, guys, because this thing powered, and we had our suspicions. We had our series of lower highs. Community, you got big brains. We breached. And then people messaged me, guys. They whinged to me. I was like, come on. You can't whinge. They're like, Tom, I shouldn't have bought AMD today. Well, you've got to make your own decisions, guys. I can't, I'm just saying what I'm seeing on the technical charts. It's not going up. And then it goes up. It's not going up enough. Well, you know what? Are you happy yesterday? You got another 2.8% on top of the price. All right? It did well. Big AMD did well. At 90 at this point, 96. Can it get there? Oh, my goodness. Of course, we've got 94 as the first one. Then we've got 96 as the second. This is doing amazing. Great work, AMD. It's hopefully a few of you guys like this stock enough because it's been pretty damn amazing. Let's think about it just as well as a movement up leg and then the second movement up leg. And that's the main kind of issue. Like even if we take the high, it's predicting like a 92 and we've just hit with a closure here. So today is very critical. For AMD, I want to see it breach this zone and close above here to show us it's got more legs in it. Today's close will matter on AMD. I really think it does matter quite a lot. SPLK on its way to the 150, continuing its little whatever. If you got into that, cool. Zoom. So this has been a pretty decent pickup, I think, for maybe yesterday's trade session. You guys know I hate this stock. But at this point, you've got to put your opinions at the door and you've got to go with what is the technicals telling us. The technicals are telling us recovery. Series of lower highs. We've got a breach. We've got a breach of the 200 yesterday. Is it on? You would think that yes, it is on. So then you've got to break it down to smaller time frames. You've got to go into 1 hour. You've got to say, oh, has it been trading with any moving average? Not really. You got to go 4 hour then. Has it been doing anything here? Well, you've got 20 pullbacks. So you got 20 pullback buy, 20 pullback buy, 20 pullback buy. So what if it does this later on in the week, later on next week, something like that? Is that of interest to you potentially? And that's the type of thing that I look for here on Zoom. Like it's a trade. 425 is kind of my target, and maybe 440 is other people's targets. It's an interesting recovery style, very similar to what we've been seeing on the others. And we've got a super chat coming in here from DC85CPA, super chat at $15. Thank you so much. IWF and IWD, please. This is for the sake of educating others further with today's theme. One is a growth fund and the other is a value fund. Okay, cool, man. Let's check it out. IWF, growth fund. It's doing big things, guys. That's a growth fund that's doing some big things here. Holy moly. 130 makes sense. It's the Russell 1000. But yeah, that's interesting as well that the Russell 1000's breached so hard in terms of this growth ETF versus IWM. Very interesting. So if we're looking at the perspective of what's going on here from TA perspective, let's have a quick look. Do we have like a resistance that just got hit? I would say yes. Let's readjust. Oh, it's pretty much there, Yeah, it's pretty much there. I don't think there's any way you can readjust it. So it's kind of hit the top end range. It might blow through it and then test from the top down like that. But yeah, certainly has hit the top end range. I don't think I use this one very often, so I don't know if that technical trend line would give. I wouldn't give it that much, but yeah, it is hitting it very far away from the 20. Go to a 2-hour chart. No follows there. 2020. So any 20 pullback has been pretty good buying with a little bit of wick rejections as well. Let's go to the 1 hour. Yeah, so it's been basically just on a propeller and a very, very small one. Let's have a look at the value fund, I assume now, the IWB value fund. Oh, it's terrible. So there is the growth component versus the value component. And this probably shows a lot of what we've been talking about in the fund. And I think it's a good point. You're seeing a big recovery. Look at the value recovery, okay? So the value recovery went, look at this, November to this point here, which is May. You see this massive movement up in the value side. This is all it's got. This is what everything it's got. The growth has continued on. The value side has already repaired itself. And if you look back in the history at these, a great lesson, by the way, DC85. If you look back in the history, you will see that the value fund sucks compared to the growth fund over longer term. Now, is the growth fund more susceptible to huge moves? Of course. But in this perspective of the value fund, it's had that big run on it, uncharacteristic. And then if you go through history, it usually does a lot of sideways after it's had that big, uncharacteristic, giant run on it. Great donation. Thank you very much, DC85. Guys, give him a clap. Give DC85 a clap. That's awesome. What do I say about GME being added to the Russell 1000? Look, I think that with all these meme stocks, we'll go and have a quick look at the meme stocks. There's always another story, yeah? And I tweeted about it. I was like, GME is going to be in the 1000. To me, it doesn't make much difference. Like, I understand that, yes, you can say, you can come up with the story, oh, well, that means hedge funds have to buy it. Index funds have to buy it and they've got to position in. They often position in early. Now, there is still a decent amount of available float. So what you guys are looking for is, okay, how much do they have to purchase, which you can probably do a calculation on. And then that means that somebody is going to, they have to be able to buy that supply. Someone's got to sell it to them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Will that end up leading to, a big move? I call that spec. It's good to have in the back of your mind, but ultimately we just have to look at the price action. So if the price action starts a repair here on GME and we start getting through these series of lower highs and we start breaching to the upside, awesome. Absolutely. That's great. If we also breach 240 and close above that, then yeah, I believe participation's in. But I don't really buy into any particular piece of news being the big catalyst. That's just the hype train that gets everybody else to do something. We've talked about it before. GME to me is social arbing, really, or social experimentation. We look for the apes, we find the apes in mass, and we throw them the bananas. Give them the bananas. All the apes need bananas. Wait, do apes even eat bananas? I don't know what apes eat. What do apes eat? Pips? Apes, I guess, just eat AMC shares. They eat AMC and GME shares. But when we understand what they eat, we get them in, they get hungry, and then they go on the stock tweets and the Reddit and everything, and everyone becomes crazy and gets involved. And it's that push, that social movement that really pushes it through. And we can see it in the price action. So I never buy too much into the fundamental side of GME AMC. I don't care about anything other than where the apes are and the price action of the apes. That's all I care about. And of course, if they are, other thing is if they stop you from being able to trade in Robinhood and stuff like they did last time, well, that's terrible. That's going to wreck it. That is going to wreck it. RR says, hey, can you check on NEO? Yeah, we can have a look at NEO. So I know it hit 50 yesterday. Kind of feel like it hit, a few people, I think someone in the room has this line drawn. I guess that line's actually higher. Not sure why they got that line. There might be a bit of curve fitting now I think about it. I said it was okay. So we hit $50, which, these lines, if you go back to our stream, a month, 2 months, 3 months ago when we were covering NEO, I don't think I've changed anything here other than to say, yep, good, yep, it's looking good, yep. We're going to hit that next level. Look, we finally hit 50. Congratulations to guys that have been holding this. Obviously a breach here of the 50 plus zone. What is that going to do? We get it up. I'd like to see a pullback, and then a pullback just to allow this to actually get a little bit higher, maybe a 4-hour 20 or something, and then move towards 55. 55 is a clear level of support. It's our next line. We haven't changed anything about this chart. It looks good. It looks like big, strong recovery. It's hard to kind of fight it at this stage, but we did just hit 50 and we are starting to move fairly far away from the 20. So let's let that thing, like, maybe it's going to like consolidate here a little bit. And if it does breach, then I have decent confidence that you'll get a little pullback before 55. So something like that, more a conservative entry. That type of thing is what we usually look at. Rocktopus says, apes eat the ramen noodles. Oh, they eat free AMC popcorn. That's true, Chris Alexander. You got it right. You got it right. What are your thoughts on Tilray? Let's have a look at Tilray. Cannabis stock's incredibly hard to pick. You know, I've given up picking a cannabis stock. And the reason why is because when it all got crazy priced over here during that December, January run that was just epic. And then, of course, the squeeze, you know, madness that came into this stock. I think the big problem with these stocks is I can't pick a winner. And maybe you guys can pick a winner and you can put it in the Discord community and share it with me and tell me which ones are great and stuff. Because I don't know which one's going to win. And ultimately you have to, because these things burn cash. It's like they're literally flaming cash. If you look at their balance sheets, it's hard. If you're looking at bullish side of Tilray, you're waiting for it to break above a 19.29 and then hopefully it returns back to the 22. The reason why you need to break this high is 2 wick rejections. And these wick rejections, once you breach them, become a pretty big deal. So basically, we get above here, then we should be able to get to the 22. We close is the key there on Tilray. Other than that, if I looked at this chart, I would be like, you know, resistance, support, resistance, engulf. It doesn't look bullish, but I see it's up pre-market. I want it to close above 1925. And then we can make a better informed decision about getting in. AMC short interest is what? 19.18%. So it's actually dropped slightly. Yeah, utilization 88.49% of shares on loan 100.39 million. Thank you very much, Jacob Croft, for bringing us in with that data. Cool. All right, let's continue through our shares because we haven't even hit some of my favorites. So we had Beam. Beautiful move yesterday, 5%, another strong close high. This thing's, you know, we talked about it earlier in the week, gave us one scare day where it came down to the nice conservative entry, did nothing, and then fired the last 2 days. Pretty nice. First targets here, something like a 44 kind of level. Pretty nice on Beam. Let's have a look at Barber. So Barber's down 1% here in the pre-market. It was down yesterday as well, and then it started. I think these are great stocks right now. I'm looking at these and I'm thinking about them and I go, oh, that's nice looking base, double bottom, breaching the previous support that's become a resistance. The lower peaks have been breached. I talk about it all the time. It's got clear 242 targets on it. It's clearly powering up. And when we think about the Shanghai Composite as well and where it's at, they all are powering up at the same time. So it's going to be, I'm telling you, it could be a very interesting time here in July for the Chinese market. I'll be watching. I will be watching. Another one that powered up, Baidu. Good closure for it yesterday. JD, powerhouse yesterday. Probably a little bit too much. It might pull back a little bit here, maybe to the 78.44 kind of zone. Find some buying pressure and then hopefully continue. Again, they all look the same. They're all a very similar recovery style play. What do you guys think? AMC is going back down, says Giant Rabbit 101. AMC probably needs to start making a move because at this point, we're stuck in the middle of a range. We're at 56.75. If we go down to the 1 hour, you can see it's unable to breach the $60 with the close. So that's your, ape alert from the price action standpoint that we want to move to 63.22 and then hopefully move above that. At this stage, it's not looking great. I mean, it's basically weakening. And if it continues to weaken and then we get underneath 52.35, what's going to happen there, guys? Well, it goes back to the $40.53 area. And I guess that's not probably where you want to be hearing, or you don't even want to be thinking about that. But unfortunately, if AMC breaches underneath 52.35, you've had apes buying. They're buying here. They're like, yeah. Banana, or ramen noodles or whatever. Then they're like, yep, here. They're like, oh yeah, ramen noodles. AMC popcorn. We need the AMC popcorn. They're buying here. They're actually buying early here. You know, if we start to see this type of pattern play out, it's not good. So we need bang, or we need 60 to be breached. Like maybe a little bit pullback, 60 breach. 60, 60, 60, 52, 35. This is the one I'm watching. I'm watching this very closely across the board. A few people asking about Wish. Let's take a look at Wish. Pretty nasty trade yesterday here for it. It's on the trend line early in the morning. Probably going to open slightly underneath. Pre-market 13.18. Trend line's about 13.40. 13.40 for the trend line. Thank you very much for the subscribers coming in as well. Appreciate it, everyone. If you're not a subscriber yet, consider doing so. It does help me out on the way towards hopefully 100K for the channel. Okay, we'll keep going through a few of these other stocks. KK says Chinese stocks for the win. Yeah. TRCH says symbol not found. Didn't that change to another symbol? They renamed to something. I think they renamed to something. QS. Let's have a look at the daily here. QS, $32. Waiting for a breach of this zone. If you actually go to the 1 hour chart, notice something interesting there. Look at this. Yesterday's little closure kind of showed some strength at the back end. You have a long leg doji, bullish hammer, decision made. Interesting. QS, very interesting. 32 plus breach could be explosive here. This is a stock that got obliterated and obviously is in accumulation at this point. We look at the volume. The volume has been increasing. See the volume here, guys. There's actually buyers here. There wasn't any buyers. Now there's some nasty Wall Street buyers or somebody's purchasing it. And you think about where it went, where it is now, and it's also almost a year old. So it's almost safe by my IPO rules. It's almost safe. All right, 21 minutes away till the market open. Torch merged with MMAT. That's correct, Gotham Bags. Let me actually also mod you, Gotham, because you've been a great person in the community. And there's another person I've got a mod here as well. Let me just quickly get them. Where are we? Where are you? There you are, sir. You'll find out who you are soon. There you go. Congratulations to the new mods. Thank you very much for the support of the stream. What else do we have going on in the market? So GDRX, we're not interested in at this time. DKNG, we need it to break that trend line and we'll come back in. BLNK, that sucks. Why'd that come back down? It's back at support. Oh, is that actually a proper breach? Yeah, I mean, it's at least at support. So that could be like that beam stock. NNDM. Might have to start cleaning up this list a little bit here, guys. Etsy. All right, I'm done with Etsy. Out of there. Disca. I kind of want to hold this in here just to keep looking at it. Viac did the initial move and pulled back. Clean up Viac. TIGR. Good company. It's moved well. Along with these others. Pack B. Yeah, we're going to keep that in there. That's going to go up here. We've got Beam. We've got Disney. Disney failing at this stage. If it ever gets above 180, let's just say in the next couple of days, that'll be pretty strong. That'll be pretty strong. I've got a new member joining the Diamond Hands community. Thank you very much, Jay Nibble. Appreciate your support and thank you for becoming a member. Let's have a quick look here. You have a new member, Jay Nibble. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. Opinion on Sundial. Let's have a look at Sundial. Sundial, 95 cents. All you really need with Sundial is you have to have the memers going with you. You know I hate this stock, guys. I hate it. Yeah. I mean, it's just about the Twitter chat, isn't it? It's the Twitter chat, the stock tweets, that type of thing. Technically, you've got your bigger base at 70. I mean, 80, 90, every 10 cents matters for Sundial. So I guess next stop's probably 90 on the down train. Bradley Back also upgrading the membership to a day trader. Thank you very much, Bradley Back. Appreciate your support as well. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Nasdaq's going to go to 13,500, says Muhammad. Look, I don't think it's going to go to 13,500 that quick. I think we are going to have a little bit of stagnation here. Possibly Thursday's session might be bullish a little bit. And then Friday is obviously going to be the tester with the jobs numbers. What do you guys think? Do you reckon? I mean, I kind of suspected that we would have a pullback. I mean, we have to have a pullback today. We had massive big green day, massive big green day, massive big green day. It's been so bullish for the community. It's awesome. But it eventually has to have a little bit of a sleep. And I think the stocks that are probably going to be the ones that might outperform could be some of the Chinese stocks later on in the next couple of weeks. They're the ones that I'm looking at this stage. Beyond as well, we saw that breach come through here for the Beyond Meat. Still looking for a very large movement here. Let's have a look at Beyond in the pre-market. Let's bring that up. So pre-market here, we have green side. We've got these stocks, Motorola, Moderna, ResMed, Biotech, healthcare stocks, looks like, which makes sense. Breakout was occurring. Got CrowdStrike. Wow, CrowdStrike's trading at 258 now. Wow, crazy. Amazing. Alphabet, 2524. Lululemon, Zoom Video, Intuit. Okay, interesting. Then we go to the negative side. We've got Coinbase. Makes sense for it to be down. Spotify, 271. Maybe we should check out Spotify. Baidu, NXP, Goldman Sachs, 3M, etc. Nvidia as well. And if we go to the squeeze stocks, what have we got? We've got Clover Health, Plug, Ocugen, Abio, AMC, Tilray. And negative side, we've got Riot, Palantir. So it looks like a little bit of a pullback through the session. AMD's done well, yep. Tom, could you please have a look at the Nikkei? Nikkei. Yep, I was meant to do that yesterday. Let's have a look. Ooh, that actually looks terrible. Look at this. Looks really gnarly. Series of lower highs coming through. We've got support around here. It's kind of like a massive descending triangle at this stage. Yeah, look, I mean, you got to pay attention to these things. But if it breaches to the upside, all of a sudden it becomes bullish as well. So we've got to be very, very careful. It's on the knife's edge. Doesn't look strong. Kind of looks like it's weakening and testing a lot of this 27.7 zone. I could actually see it dropping back down to there. So what I'm saying here is these ones. And then we do this. And then, of course, if you breach here, what's a descending triangle telling us? It's telling us weakness in the market. Weakness in the market, guys. Have a look at Fastly. Let's have a look at Fastly for you. No. It's like, why is that not working? Fastly, let's check it out. This got a pretty big retail community in it, Fastly. Nice small breach of the 60. But then it kind of hits that support, 62.25. So it's done the business. God, I'd be hard pressed to be bullish here. I think like that, then a move up, then hopefully a closure above. And if you get a closure above, of course, Fastly should move towards 70. So it's got potential. 2050 cross coming up. I'm a little concerned over this level. So you just got to basically breach it. But you can see how important this zone is. I wonder how the Olympics is influencing the chart of the NI 225. That's interesting point. Yeah, it could be quite a lot. People, we need to get Tom to 500 likes. Smash the like button, please. Thank you very much, Gotham Bags. Appreciate it. How does equity perform in a deflation environment? Look at the Japanese market. That would be the easiest way to look at it. In fact, there's a thing that a lot of people talk about, and I think, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Ray Dalio, that's the one. Yeah, you're going to laugh at me though. I forgot Ray Dalio's name. But Ray Dalio discusses this. I tend to usually agree with this concept, and that is that we are going into, a lot of people call it the lost decade. And Europe had a lost decade. Then you also had, of course, Japan had a lost decade where equities didn't perform that well. In fact, if you haven't looked at like a Europe 350 or something like that, do we have a Europe 350 here? Let's have a look at iShares Europe 350. Go to a weekly. Check this out, guys. So a lot of people forget how bad the GFC was for equity holders in Europe. The stocks got obliterated and they just never came back. Now, a lot of that was because there's not much innovation there. I think this is the key point. What this chart tells us about how we need to trade and invest potentially in the next decade, you may disagree with me here, but I've been thinking about it a lot. I think what it tells us is that you've got to be very careful of buying older companies that aren't reinvesting in the future, because you need ultimately growth. And I think this is where someone like Cathie Wood or other people kind of have it correct. And you can see what you guys think, but it's basically that if you're investing in like, what is in this thing? There's Deutsche Bank, there's all these banks, there's all these energy stocks, there's all these old school companies, and they needed bailouts and they just didn't invest in themselves. And they're sitting there going, oh, how can we maintain our business? They're not thinking about how can we grow it. They just want to maintain it and grow it a little bit. Whereas in the US, best market in the world, you've got a huge amount of innovation, a huge amount of exciting businesses and exciting areas. And I think that's why, in many ways, you had this hideous, what they call a lost decade, where nothing really happens. And you don't want to ultimately go back into that. And obviously the US market isn't at this stage, but that's where I think some of the S&P 500 will be. I think it's going to be like this. I think the SP500 is going to become not necessarily a great investment. And what's going to actually happen is you're going to have 300 companies that are like, plus doing great. And you're going to have 200 companies that suck. And they're on the decline, and these ones are on the incline. And the net positive will be growth for the S&P 500, but not at those 20% plus years. What do you guys think? Do you agree? What do you guys think? US stock had a lost decade between 2000 and 2009. Exactly. And what was that? Hideous, terrible tech stocks that were worth nothing getting kicked out of the market and rotated back into. Every market has one. You look at STW. This is the Australian stock market. Look at what happened after the global financial crisis. Now, you might think, oh, our economy shrunk. No, what happened here is we had so many iron ore companies that they all got rotated out of and destroyed the value of the index. So this was all iron ore companies. Super interesting. Harry Bowman says, I completely agree. Mohammed says, I agree. Charlie says, thoughts on Neo. We did Neo before. So you want to check that out. Probably go back about 30 minutes, man. Big Dipper, super chat $5. Tom, what's your opinion on REITs? Ugh. As a long-term hold for dividend income, new T, for example. Did I give you my opinion? REITs, you got to be super careful. I would want you to do your diligence. Now, obviously, you've got to make your own decisions, but diligence. You've got to understand exactly what the hell this business is doing and understand the country that it's in and understand their risk management systems. The problem with REITs, you look at the global financial crisis, how many blew up. You look at their management, even last year, they got lucky that we had the sugar rush move. So if they were getting beaten down, like this one's getting beaten down, was it in financial hardship here? I tend to believe if a company was in one's financial hardship, it tends to repeat the same problem. How bad was it? I don't know how bad it was. I don't know this company. This is definitely, very, very strong. I understand this is an income play in the US. You don't have franking credits like we have in Australia. I feel like it's overpriced and maybe it'll come back down to the weekly 20. In fact, it most likely will. But if you want to hold something like this, just go back and look at past performance a little bit. How well has REITs done? It's done pretty okay. I mean, obviously, there's the global financial crisis high. That's the mismanagement of whatever happened. This is another massive movement here and some form of mismanagement. So I guess that's commercial services, so it makes sense. I would think 20 moving average would be the area I would be looking at. REITs, not my favorite industry. I think I prefer just, if you're going to use that type of thing, I personally would just go buy the damn house or buy the commercial place. And I know that's not an opportunity for everyone. Ulrich Nielsen, Super Chat 2, DKK, $20. Thoughts on RHT? Looks like it wants 54 cents. Let's have a look at RHT for you, and then we'll start to dial in here on today's stocks, the things that we're looking at for the session. So first up, RHT, you're saying it wants 54 cents. It's going to open pre-market 46 and a bit. As per normal, we need 50 cent plus closure here. Rejection wick, break above, decision to the upside. You're looking for a closure above 50 cents. Now, if it gets above 50 cents, which it isn't at the moment, then yeah, I actually think 56 and a half after 50 cents. 50 cents, 56 and a half is my thoughts. Rob 77, super chatted $1. No message, but thank you very much. Lenice Walker, $4.99. Google. Let's have a look at Google. Old Alphabet. The old Alphabet. Okay, so I mean, Google's run has been good. Let's go to the daily. Got to zoom in a little bit here. What do we do with Google? We know there's support. 50. Can I be neutral? Can I be neutral? I mean, I'm mostly bullish tech, but I don't know if I'm bullish this chart. But I think I'm neutral. I'm completely neutral. Close below the 20 moving average and these previous lows, then maybe we've got some shorting potential in here. Close above, then maybe some longs, but I don't like either side. I don't know. I'm going to go neutral. If you're in an investment, you wouldn't, like, I don't think you really care. I mean, just kind of sitting there waiting. Yeah, stuck between two ranges for me and nothing more. We've got 6 minutes till the market opens. Let's dial in. You guys can vote on what you'd like. We haven't done our Tesla analysis yet either, so we will be doing that soon. US 500 made an uncharacteristic close underneath our little 2-hour 20, which shows a little bit of weakness here for the US 500 today. I guess I would be probably on the bearish side than bullish side at this stage, based on the last couple of days, based on where we are in the week, everything else. I do feel like a little bit of a movement down. Also, that XLF financial sector was pretty compelling. Another one of, speaking of shorts, let's have a look at our short stocks. We haven't even done it. John Deere. Does that look bullish to you, chat? John Deere. Does that look bullish to you? You loving the John Deere right now? I believe Robinson Rob wanted Dare in his super chat. Is that like a milk company? Any Australian will know what I'm talking about. I'll check out Dare in a second. Trishan says, Baba. Baidu Tesla. Europe is diving more and more into socialism and socialist countries who have never been innovative. Yeah, well, I don't want to get political on it, but you are correct from the perspective of we've definitely got a problem in Europe with innovation. We do. John Deere, supposedly terrible company from a few of you guys. Yep, well, we've got the support, we've got the sugar rush, and of course, we're now at the resistance. This is role reversal at its best. Why is there so much volume? Is that even real? The hell is that? Why is there so much volume there? Unloading? I don't know what that is. But anyway, yeah, it's right at that resistance. So there's one of the ones that we were thinking about short. UPS did its little thing. It's coming back up. We'll see how that one goes. I don't really feel too much about UPS. FedEx. All over the place. It went down all over the place. I don't know what to do with FedEx. Caterpillar. Go the daily. Another one that's looking relatively weak, like it's going to tip. Crocs. I'll be watching you Crocs in the future. Car coming down to support. So, look, John Deere probably looks the worst. John Deere looks terrible. And if it breaches, it goes long, but that does look like the kind of short possibility. So coming into the market today, guys, we've got, unfortunately, a little bit of weakness. I think that we could sniff out here. We've got dollar index strengthening, further strengthening. That usually means a little bit of risk off kind of concepts. We've got the US 10-year down, which is pretty good, but it has made some recoveries through the morning. I'm looking at the dollar index. I'm also just thinking about the current amount of huge moves that we've just had, and that's the biggest thing. Joey B says infrastructure deal. Infrastructure deal. S. Burgos says a friend of mine got burned on a deer a few years ago and sold it before it popped again. Really? Really? Have we looked at Disney? Certainly have. Disney has not broken to the upside. It's just kind of weakening. We did it a little while ago. Okay, let's get into these stocks. So it looks like you guys have voted and you've got all sorts of ones. We've got AMD coming in here, and then Dare is supposedly up 20% pre-market. Oh, it's one of those stocks. All right, let's have a look. Dare Biosciences. Yep. Well, it's a bioscience stock, so therefore I like it. Yeah. You know, I guess it kind of came through with volume. Volume was your first tester here. So you got support, resistance. Volume starts to spike up. That leads to huge movements. Monster volume here with very little movement compared to the previous one. Wow. Yeah, there was some insider nasties trading off here. It's such pricks. They definitely got in, and 195, you know, it's approaching the $2 bracket. It makes sense for it to get to this level, the pre-market. I wouldn't be bullish. I mean, it's a biotech stock. When they go like this, what do? It's the pumpy dumpy, guys. So you got to be very, very careful. Look at previous history of the stock. Now, if you want to hold it, sure, that's cool. But look at the pumpy dumpy. You know, it likes the pumpy and then likes the dumpy. The question is, will it have an epic streak on it or not? And the only way you can really deal with that is by scaling through. Anyway, we hit market open, 193. I started yabbering a bit. Let's just quickly go over here. We've got our Tesla set up, 680. Let's get the opening bell going on. Whew. Barely got there today, guys. If I'm sounding a little bit tired, I do apologize. A lot of talking today. End of financial year here in Australia. It's wild stuff. Tesla, 681.36. So we open at the 680 level. Got to get above 700 to really show that bullish intention here for Tesla. Market itself, US 500 opens at 0.07 down. Not too bad. US 100 is down 0.19. So we'll see what happens here at the little bit of resistance. Obviously, it's got the real resistance here at 4,300 for the day. So if the bears are going to get control, they'll short either here or they'll short here and they'll take it through. If the bulls get full control of the market today, I'd be looking for a 4,300 plus break and then that movement up and through. Google, doing nothing. Let's have a look through the rest of our stocks. VIX also spiked here. Interesting. Square opens down 0.37. TDOC flat as attack. AMD up another 1.89%. Congratulations, AMD holders. Looking beautiful. Let's have a look at INTC. Intel getting obliterated. So obviously a story here about AMD stealing all their market share, which we've seen I was looking at a laptop today for end of financial year. I was only considering AMD processors. I was like, get out of here, Intel. I have never had an AMD in a laptop. Ever. I have AMDs in computers several times, but never in a laptop. They are smashing it. Congratulations to them finally becoming competitive. Chinese stocks down a little bit here in the open. We've got Beyond up. Interesting. Beyond is up. Let's have a quick... Ooh, okay. Let's have a look here at the discussions on the stock twits. Are we seeing the social experiment of Beyond Meat? Okay, message volume slightly up. So it's still ticking up. There's a... The hell? I'm probably not the best spokesman for a Beyond Meat. My dad's a farmer. So probably the worst ever spokesman, especially with that little nugget there that I saw. But yeah, that one was interesting to see that little bit of a spike up. We know with Beyond, it does its own thing. It doesn't care about the market. It's kind of like a meme stock, and it is starting to show that social improvement that we've been looking at. Meme stocks open here, flat as attack as well. GME down, AMC flat, and Wish and all those others also down. And yeah, it's just mostly kind of a sea of mixed feelings with a little bit more weakness than anything else. And it's as we expect, really. A lot of great bull days. Sometimes we've got to take a bear day, guys. But I don't think there's any cause for concern yet. We'll find out with the jobs numbers. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for hopefully having a great time during the session. And I'll be completely re-energized. I mean, I don't know if you guys have in the US or around the world, when that end of financial year comes and you work in business, you're like, I don't like today. But the 1st of July for us, or the 1st of January probably in the US, you guys are feeling great. So be careful on dare here. I think there's a biotech that opens up really huge, usually ends up getting busted through. Truly Messiah says neutral, Tom. Yeah, I usually have an opinion, but not as much. Any suggestions for Airbnb? I think that, I don't know. I mean, depends what your plan is on it. I mean, you know that it should be picked up. 142, it's at 145. I mean, how bad is that? 142 should find buying pressure. But yeah, that tip yesterday did suck. No doubt it did suck. All right, everybody. Catch you for now. See you tomorrow. Thank you very much for the donations. And if anyone in Australia is wanting our course, you got 26 minutes to take advantage of the end of financial year special. Check out the link in one of the videos that we chucked in there. Catch everyone. See you for now. Sunshine State. Oh, you got lucky, Sunshine State. All right, let's have a look. Corsair. We're coming back, guys. Live scene, Corsair. I remember when I got yelled at for saying this thing would go back down. Remember when it did this pumpy dumpy? Look, Corsair is a fine stock. Obviously, they make mice and keyboards and stuff. I recently got rid of my Corsair keyboard, I must say. This new keyboard is far superior. Shout out to, what is this company? Keychron. Keychron, guys, is beautiful. This keyboard, I don't know if you can see this. Look at that. Look at that. It's like electric. Do you see that? Holy moly, that's so cool. Electric keyboard. Keychron. Cheap too. Cheap. You got, that's like the beautiful thing. So I'm not a big fan of the old Corsair. This chart's impossible to read. The big issue here is that you've got, well, firstly, we ignore this. I mean, we know that's crap. But you think about it. You've got rejection, bullish, then bearish. The 20 means nothing because you're stuck in a range. You've got 29.78 and you've still got the 36. You breach the 36, well, you're looking at recovery. You're in a channel. And unfortunately, that means you've got to trade it as such, and you've got to go small time frames, and you've got to say, okay, if we're in the middle, do we have direction? You would have to go with a little bit of buy support here over sell pressure. Aren't all keyboards somewhat electric? Did you see that? It literally explodes with crazy light when you're typing. There's nothing cooler than that, guys. Holy moly. Razer is better than what? Corsair. Not better than my Keychron, I'm telling you. Keychron. Catch everyone. Corsair in the middle. That's all we could say. Catch up.